Hi everyone, welcome back. Patricia here with my very first Q&A. Thank you so much to those of you who submitted questions. I'm going to be going through that video where I asked for the questions and just going through them one after the other. So let's get started. We currently live in California and we have our eye set like North Carolina, Tennessee. I would love to go even further north, but I think I don't know what I'm getting into weather-wise up there, so we kind of have our eye in that area. We would like to stay in the West Coast. I'm really comfortable with the idea of moving to Portland or Seattle. Some of those places were mentioned. However, part of the reason we want to move is to sort of save money and kind of get more for your money. Portland and Seattle specifically, they're not very cheap. You know, they're just as expensive as California, if not more. The reason is I'm curious. Like, I don't want to die thinking that there was something I wanted to do and didn't, and I have the opportunity now, so I think I want to take it. I think we're done. I initially wanted 3 kids, but after having 2, it feels comfortable and it feels right, and I can't really imagine doing it all over again. There is a little window of hope, maybe like a 10% chance, but I think we're done having children. So I have an AA in theater arts, a BA in Chicano studies, and I have my multiple subject teaching credential, and I'm also authorized to teach drama K-12, so that can be any grade level. So I actually used my teaching credential to teach 7th grade reading and language arts in sort of an inner city. All my students and colleagues would laugh, but that's what we were called, you know. It was a low performing school district. I loved it. The kids are awesome, the parents are great. I also taught social studies, and my last year before taking my extended maternity leave / quitting my job, I taught drama to 1 period. So am I planning on going back to work? Initially I was, you know, before my reality, I thought I'll have kids and when they're school age, I'll go back to work. And I do still think that's sort of the plan, although my husband and I are still divided and unsure about how we want to educate them, whether we want to put them in public school, charter school, some kind of magnet, or homeschool. You know, there's a lot of great options and we don't know which one to pick. But if we do pick homeschool, then I'll probably be the one to do that, so I wouldn't go back to work. Part of me feels like I would miss work, but also I know that I would really miss their childhood, so I'm kind of torn. I'm going to show you a picture, and I think this picture kind of sums it up. Let's just show a few pictures. So in high school, I was a nerd. I was a good kid. I was never bullied. I maybe was teased here and there, but nothing like perpetual bullying. I had glasses, I had braces, I hadn't yet discovered waxing or nair. So yeah, that was my experience. I studied somewhat hard. I kind of just took the easy way. I think without putting much effort into things, I could get B's, a little more effort A. I wish I had somebody really push me and reach my full potential, because I never did. I was second chair clarinet through middle school and high school. I was always second chair. If I had tried a little harder, maybe I would have been first chair. So I was in the marching band, I was in the drama club, I did all the plays. I actually played soccer for a ton of years, and once I got to high school, the schedule conflict was just too much, and so I had to choose, and I chose going in the direction of the arts. I don't regret it. I did coach soccer for my cousin's team. It would have been nice to play soccer a little longer, but it just didn't work out. I was also involved a lot in my church, and so I kind of had friends from all walks of life, and I still do. Although I really felt at home with the drama kids. Did we get into shenanigans? We would do I never really participated, but we would do blitzkrieg. And on the last day of school, the drama kids would hop the fence and jump into the pool, the water polo jock pool. But no, I didn't. I was a good kid. Shenanigans. We were always doing we were videotaping ourselves way before YouTube. We made videos, movies, shorts. We would just go stand out in costume in front of our local grocery store. We were bored kids, good kids. We live in a really small town. None of us had money. Maybe one of us had our license. We would play scary movie, and one person was a killer, and we'd film it and do script. I have a question about how my husband and I met. We actually met in theater. So I was doing a play in college, and a person who was in that show was Brian's best friend for many years and still is, and he was in our wedding. He did not actually have us meet each other. He didn't put the two connection that maybe we would like each other. In fact, Brian just came to the show to support his friend. Afterward, we all went out for dinner and drinks, and so we kind of met in that group. And it was like immediate, you guys. I think I had one date with him and we both just knew, and they say you know, and it's true, we knew. We were a bit young, so that was kind of like, you know, you question your feelings, like, is this real or is this just puppy love? But it was real, it still is, 12 years later, we're still together. So yes, he first saw me as I was on stage in costume being somebody else, and I'm glad he came to see the play that day. In fact, he came to see it the next day too. In fact, my husband proposed to me on the roof of the theater where we met. So we would, hey, that's a shenanigan story. We would often climb up on the roofs of buildings that weren't intended to be on, like at our college universities and stuff. We were, again, good kids, not doing anything wrong. If there's a ladder and a staircase that isn't locked, you know, it's an invitation for somebody to get on the roof. But anyway, that's where he proposed, so that was really fun. Right now my mom is pretty close, although she works full-time and is so busy. It's like baby boomer grandparent. It's not the grandparent you might think of. She has a busier social life than I do. I could never really get a hold of her. I have to like schedule time to see her. So though we live close to her, I don't see her very much. And we don't see his parents very much because they're out of state now. His sister and her husband had an opportunity out of state that they couldn't pass up, and so his mom also went last year, and so they're all together like in the same mile from each other. So my very first real job was at a Foster's Freeze, and from there I started working at Bath and Body Works. I worked at Starbucks for the majority of my, you know, part-time career. I also did a catering job for a while. I was paid to do an improv performance at a bar mitzvah. I worked at Payless shoe store for just a few months. I did not really like that job at all. Starbucks was my main job. When people tell me what I did before teaching, I would say Starbucks. I was a substitute teacher for a little while, and if you want to be a teacher and you think, oh, I'll sub to get a good idea, that is not a very good idea. They're different jobs. They're totally different jobs because the kids see the sub as like an opportunity to be crazy. So you will have a lot more control as a teacher than you do as a sub. So if you hate subbing, you still might actually like teaching. What I like to do for fun, and now as a grown adult, seriously, I love to read. I love to wake up early and enjoy a cup of coffee and read. And I read a lot of non-fiction, and I never used to. I only liked fiction for the longest time, like Nicholas Sparks, Jodi Picoult, all those, you know, either like a heartwarming love story or a mystery with a twist. Nowadays, I'm reading lots of things on budgeting, decluttering, you know, self-help, personal growth, happiness, Brené Brown, Anthony Robbins, Joshua Becker, stuff like that. So that to me is for fun. I do not go out anymore. I rarely go to parties. I like going to weddings, but I think everyone in my life is either married or choosing not to be married. I like going like out of town to little small towns. Where I live, we can go to like little mountain towns or areas with a cute main street and just get a coffee or a pastry and pop into all the streets. These things are not very fun for kids to do though, so I don't do it very often. I like being with my family and being out. You know, pumpkin bread probably is my favorite. I like pumpkin pie. I don't like anything too sweet or too elaborate. As far as my favorite Starbucks drink, I always just get coffee, whether it's iced coffee with room for cream or hot coffee with room for cream. If I'm feeling special, I will get a flavor. I liked toffee nut a lot. You know, maybe I'll get a soy chai. That's something I haven't gotten in a long time actually. Soy chai, no water. I don't know if they still put water in there, but that is a delicious drink. If I do order something with sweetener, or like a flavor, I'll always ask them to just do 2 pumps or half the amount or 1 pump or whatever. Whatever is convenient has been my go-to for the longest time, and that's usually a Goodwill. There's always a Goodwill somewhere. Or sometimes there's a Goodwill truck like parked in a parking lot and it's kind of always there. Sometimes Salvation Army. I'll go to the back of Salvation Army. Recently I've been taking some of my nicer clothes to thread up, although you get such a small amount. I would have been giving it to the Goodwill for free anyway, so even if it's like $6, it's $6 more than I had before. However, I am starting to change my mindset on that, and I might try to donate to Schoola. You can just get free bags from both thredUP and Schoola, postage paid, and just give it to them. Now, Schoola uses all theirs for donations toward other charities. With Schoola, you don't get an option to get paid. They won't pay you, they'll just take your donation. With thredUP, you do get paid, but again, it's such a small amount that you're almost like, we'll just give it to this place because $5, you know, for like 10 shirts. So a guilty pleasure of mine is planner stuff. I like to watch like sticker videos, and I'm getting into like decorating my planner. I knew it was gonna happen. It was only a matter of time. I like Lifetime. Like if I could go back and do acting again, like a dream for me would be on cheesy Lifetime movies. I love those movies, those crazy characters. Just the best. Thank you guys so much for submitting those questions. I feel like I've been talking so long, and I hope you got to know me a little bit better. If there are any other questions, you can leave them and I'll type you a response, and we'll get back to the regularly scheduled content. Budgeting is for sure coming. I cannot bite my tongue anymore on budgeting. We're gonna talk about money soon. So stay tuned if you wanna see more of that stuff. Thank you so much for watching and submitting those questions, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.